Okay, I think we are live. Hey, Tiffany.
Hi, how are you?
All right.
Great. How are
Hey,
you?
Tiffany, how are you
I,
tonight?
I spent some great. How are you?
I am blessed and winning here tonight.
Good to hear your voice.
Right. Yeah, I tell you. I don't know. Hey, Greg, if the pressure got to me or what a couple of weeks ago. They say pressure busts a fire.
All right.
All right, Greg, we get
Welcome,
started.
welcome, welcome, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Free Financial Fridays. We're going to educate you on all aspects of finances and even taking care of your health because wealth without health is no good whatsoever. Uh, Tonight, we're going to do kind of a uh, continuation and ending tonight. We want to continue with week three where we talk about history, and we're also going to talk about credit mixture tonight. And then that'll be the end of our credit repair challenge, and we're going to have a great offer for you at the end of it. Excuse me. So I have my cohorts here. I have Tiffany Cogdale. Say hi.
Hi.
And we have Spencer LeCapra. He's my mentor, my everything you can think about when it comes to finances and business. This man knows it. Matter of fact, if you hear his nickname, you'll know why. His name is Mr. Blessed and Winning. Now, listen to that combination. Blessed and winning.
Come on.
Boy, you can't beat that. And he's going to be our speaker tonight. He's going to give a great presentation on what we're talking about and end it for us tonight. So, Spencer, are you ready?
I am fired up and ready to go. And once again, I want to thank Mr. Satterwhite and his team. See, we've got two of I like to call these two individuals the brain trust of the financial literacy component because not only they talk about financial literacy from a technical perspective, but they talk about implementation. And I tell you, when it comes to implementing the strategies into your life, it's nothing like having that hands-on coach. I know many of you would agree with me out there, and nobody does it better than Greg Satterwhite and Tiffany Cogdale here, particularly. And of course, there's always other leaders that's coming on here and they're sharing some great information. But I certainly want to give it back to those two individuals because I've got on this call on a number of Friday nights just because I need to brushing up on my implementation. But tonight, I'm here to talk to you in more detail about credit repair from a perspective of, hey, we got five major factors when it comes to credit repair. And oftentimes people, they try to lure you into this thought process that they can do it for you. And what many people find out when they get involved with us in our primary company, that we talk about solutions and strategies. And most of the time, it's where you've got to get involved because you don't want to find yourself uh, outsourcing some of the money and financial situations that you make. You see many times where entertainers or people that's made a lot of money and then oftentimes, a few years later, you'll find out that they're in worse shape than they were when they started out. Well, that's because they didn't know how to keep up with the technical part of what was going on. Consequently, people were making bad decisions or they were making decisions that they was embezzling or siphoning off the money and sending it offshore somewhere. And guess what? Those people that made a lot of money didn't get a chance to enjoy it. And so we don't want our associates and our business partners to be in that kind of predicament. So we spend an enormous amount of time to say, hey, if you've got a good accountant or a good financial person out there, hey, you need to be able to check up on them and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. You should be able to have some kind of mechanism to make sure that you can look at it very quickly, few moments of during the course of a week and know that you're on track. You know, I mean, just think about it. People can talk about the cars that they're making now, and the cars are supposed to drive all by themselves, and you know, we can just sit back and go to sleep at the wheel. I don't know if I'm going to ever be one of those good candidates for that. I'm going to keep my eye on the road because, you know, I don't want to wind up in a tree because, you know, by the time I hit the tree, it's too late, you know, and that's what it is when it comes to people finances. If you don't have mechanisms in place where, you know, you can do the checks and balances for yourself. So again, my name is Spencer LeCapper, also known as Mr. Blessed and Winning. And if you care to follow me on Facebook or Instagram out there, you can always reach me on Mr. Blessed and Winning. Okay, so I'm here tonight to focus on credit history. I just want to recap real quickly the 5 factors that really focuses on your credit. And the first would also, when we start talking about your credit, you know, then we're going to talk about, you know, your credit your payment history. So you have a credit history, but you also have a payment history. So creditors, you know, they're going to always want to find out how credit worthy are you. So it used to be a time in life where cash was king, and so if you wanted to buy a car or if you wanted to buy, you know, a large ticket item, you had to bring cash or you had to be able to write a check. And, you know, they had to be able to get their cash right there. But, you know, due to the changing world, changing society, you know, they kind of transitioned that to credit. Why? Well, guess what? They get a chance to charge interest on the money. So, and so when you start looking at the interest on your money out there, wow, I mean, it's not uncommon to find a lot of people with credit cards up into the high 20s when it comes to making just regular old purchases on things. So I see a lot of credit cards averaging around 25% is what people expect when they just get a credit card that may be something, an introductory rate, you know, $1,000 limit. So we're going to focus, make sure that if you are recapping this, you're going to go back and you're going to start to focus on your payment history. Now, keep in mind, the system that we're going to be talking about or using tonight is the one that was put together by My FICO. That stands for the Fair Isaac Corporation, okay? So the FICO scoring system is used by most of the financial institutions and is a recognized system that they put together that's supposed to give creditors a good representation of whether you are credit worthy or not. So they have different categories. They have a poor section, you know, if you're down there, you know, between 300 and some number here, we'll probably go with the exact number, then you got poor credit. Then, you know, that's it. So everybody starts out at a 300. And then, of course, they've got the what they call the fair credit system. Then they got the good, and then they got an excellent credit score system. So we're going to go over some of those exact numbers. But keep in mind, if somebody say they can do your credit for you, they're only referring to the payment, disputing the payment history, okay, out there. So you want to not find yourself in situations paying a lot of money on a monthly basis or giving people a lot of money up front when we're going to share with you that we've got all the letters and we have a letter writing system to help you through that process. So let's get back into why we're here tonight. And so we're going to focus on your credit history here. So we've got a great presentation here and we're going to make this available for you, all of this information. So you get back with the persons that invited you or the person that invited you to this call, and they'll show you that, you know, we do have a proven system that works. And so credit history, what they're trying to look at is the age or the length of your credit history there. The length of the credit history is how long any given account has been reported open. So a lot of times when you look at your credit and you may have opened some account 10 years or more, where you don't want, just because you may have closed that account, you don't want to remove those old accounts from your credit history because they could be, you may have had a good payment history throughout that 10-year period. So that's going to be a plus, for you in terms of, but then you may be in a situation, maybe you had a poor payment history on that. And so, you may want to make a better decision. But why we're here tonight is to help you make an informed decision about your credit. And in particular, we're focusing on your credit history here tonight. So you've got the payment history, you've got the credit utilization, and then of course the third day you typically talk about the credit history. The longer the history, generally the better the score. So accounts with a positive payment history that have no delinquencies are the best. So you want to make sure that you take a look at that. Okay. And then, of course, we address the whole credit system, as I was stating earlier. Score ranges from 300 to 850. The available points that you got is 550 points. So guess what? The credit history in itself accounts for about 15% of your credit score. And so, that's about 82.5 maximum points. So you're going to find out if you can really position yourself here in a few moments. Our next slide is going to show you how you can borrow some credit history. If you don't have any, it can be the hardest thing to generate if you don't apply suggested strategies. So we're going to give you some strategies here this evening to help you build your credit history. Okay, so let's take a look at some of those. Okay, what FICO looks at. Okay, here's the breakdown here. The time length the account was open. Okay, how long specific account types have been open. And what you're going to find out, they're referring to what they call revolving accounts, which carries a lot more weight than the when you installment debt. Okay, so typically there's about a 3-to-1 ratio of installment debt. Of installment debt. You want about 3 revolving accounts to 1 installment debt. Now, what are those again? The installment debt would be, let's say you made a car purchase or you purchased some furniture. Typically, at some point in time, you've opened up an account and you're making monthly payments on that account because you expect to pay that debt off in full. So that would be called an installment debt. Okay, revolving debt could be like credit card at department stores where you open up an account and you can go back and add things to that account at any time. So the time length since those accounts were used play a very important role whether you are a credit worthy. How much history is enough? Well, let's take a look at it. Minimum needed to generate a credit score is 6 months. So you can see it can take a while. A lot of times people, they come to us and one of the first questions they ask, well, how fast can you fix my credit score? Because, they got a little monthly payment going on. And so they really want to know, wow, what is it going to cost me and this kind of thing? Well, here's the real point, folks. People that generally have poor or less than favorable credit score, they didn't get there overnight. Now, we know it could have been some unfortunate incident that occurred, or it could have been lack of discipline. It could have been any number of things. But the point I like to make is that it didn't just happen in a vacuum. There were some factors that caused that. Now, the good part about it, for us, we're concerned, we have other things that we do in Micon to help you increase your cash flow, because it's nothing better than putting yourself in a situation where the debt is paid off and that your credit utilization is less than that 30%. Typically, we like to tell people we like to be very conservative. And so we want you between 10 and 20% on your credit utilization there. We don't want you to start getting to, the end of the limit there when you're talking about your credit utilization amount. And so if you're not up to speed on what I'm talking about credit utilization, a quick crash course is if you've got $1,000 line of credit that someone has extended to you, you don't want to charge any more than about between $100 and $200 on that count. Now, I know that sounds a little sickening when you think about it. Well, what that really means is that you may need more than one credit card, okay? Because people and creditors want to see how well you can manage credit, how well you can pay your bills. So some people, the debt consolidation guys, they like to tell you, oh, just bring it all to us and we'll stack, $2,000 or $3,000 on it and we'll stretch the payment out and we'll pay it, you send us the money and we'll pay it for you even, because they want to keep you on their books. But here with us in MyEcon and some of the other people that's in business with business part, we don't subscribe to that concept. We want to get out of debt. So if no one's ever talked to you about what a good feeling is to be out of debt, you need to stick around on our calls and find out that we preach being debt free, at all. And now we have provisions to help you do that. Close account can still report on your account for your credit history. Paid on time, closed account, stay on your report for about 10 years. You probably may not have known that those stick around. But here's the other part. If you had some late payments and you got closed account, they stay on your report for 7 years. But we have some excellent methods of showing you how to dispute things and maybe how to put a freeze on some of the secondary credit bureaus that in many cases, that's going to help you remove some of those old accounts if you got some late payments there that you want to have removed from your account. So we got some strategic things that we do legally and morally correct, because, the book that I read say, hey, it's supposed to be forgiven in 7 years anyway. Okay. All right. Now, so what are some of the alternatives and some of the other things people can do? Well, they can go to family members or friends that have good credit history, and they can ask to be added to their account as an authorized user. That doesn't mean that they have access to that person's personal account and that they can start charging things up. No, 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 no. They just want to be added to the account. So this is a good little strategy that I use with my children as they were going to college. And of course, now they're young adults and they've all maintained high 700 and some even over 800 credit score because they were able to be in a position to borrow my good credit. And I've always preached that in my house, is, hey, debt elimination is the best place that you can be. So card owners do not have to give you a card. You will inherit their payment history. Okay. Now, credit history, these are some other strategies that you may use to help you build a good credit history. Converting your rental payment history. Maybe you've been renting for a number of period of time. Well, if you are a renter and you have good rental history, you might want to be able to convert your rent into credit history. Yes, well, there's two of the major credit bureaus that actually recognizes this, and I don't know the two right off the top of my head, so I know some of you may be asking that questions in your mind, but because it changes so much, which ones do actually take the rental history into account. But there's companies out there, and I'm going to give you a list of some of them that you can actually pursue and see which companies they can report to. There are credit reporting company services that will work with landlords to report your rent. And there's that slide there. So you can become an authorized user. Okay, 3 action steps. Ask a family member or friend with a credit card that they can loan positive payment history to add you as an authorized user. Make sure the card has low credit utilization. So you don't want to get someone that, they sitting there with $1,000 line of credit, but they're at, $800 already usage on that card. that's not going to be a very favorable for you on your report. If you are a renter, contact a credit rental reporting company and get your rent converted into credit. So let's take a look at some of those. Here's a list of the reporting companies. Rent Reporters, okay, www. And I just flashed that screen up there, but the purpose of this call is to let you know that we have a system in place, and for just $39.95, you can get access to all of this information all the time. So I know some of you out there probably doing a screenshot of this. Well, remember, it's all about implementation, and if you don't know what you're doing out there, you're going to fail miserably, because I'm not going to give you everything, but I'm going to give you enough to really get you in a position to do that. So, is there any questions before we go to our next slide, where we do a good credit mixture? While I'm pulling that up, credit mix, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the next slide. Greg, if you see any hands up there, just let me know. Sure, we'll do that while I pull up day 5 there. Okay, and we'll be out of here in just a few moments here. Okay, all right, here we go. Can you still see my screen, Greg?
Sure can.
All right, good deal. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm doing this without Stephanie. Stephanie is my daughter, and she keeps me going on this stuff. Well, I tell you what, it's good when you can maneuver around some of these things. And that's what I like about our system. It's all point and click. So, and when, an old guy like myself, and, I hate to tell my age on here because they always just say, I know they're not letting old people in this company, are they still? This sounds like a young thing. Well, the good Lord's blessed me with over 70 years. So out there. And so, so yes, I probably look and act my age, but you know what? I still can keep up with the best. So, remember, I was a drill instructor in the military, and so I'll still do more push-ups than most of you out there. So I'll challenge you any day of the week out there. So if you think you're big and bad out there, hey, come meet Mr. Blessed with him. I love a challenge. Yeah. All right. Well, here we go. Here we're gonna transition right now to our last week here, and we're going to share with you a good credit mixture. Keep in mind, once again, for $39.95, you get 5 days of this credit mix. I've actually condensed this presentation into about 30 minutes because I have, so we do have a smaller version, but tonight we wanted to take a moment and go through each one of this over a 5-week period. So prior to you coming on tonight, Mr. Satterwhite and Ms. Cogdell, they have been doing this, and they're actually pros on this, but they're just tired of doing it all by themselves. So they say, look, Spencer's just sitting around, laying around there, chewing bubble gum. Let's put him to work. No, I hope they didn't say that. All right, so what is a credit mixture here? Let's find out. The types of accounts that make up a consumer's credit report. Remember, why do you need good credit? Some of the reasons. Okay, anybody bought any auto insurance lately? Well, if you bought auto insurance, you probably have auto insurance. Did you know you could reduce your auto insurance in many cases if you've got a good credit score? So if you got a 700 or better credit score out there, the auto insurance companies out there, hey, they see you as a good risk out there. So they start to lower your insurance payments. So if you want you want to lower your payments and insurance, keep a good credit score out there. There's other things, getting jobs now. Boy, I tell you what, if you're in the metropolitan area like I am here in the Washington, D.C. area, it's not uncommon for you to be in a position where you need to get a security clearance. Guess what? To get a job or keep your job in many locations, not just in Washington, D.C., a lot of locations, they're looking to see if you're credit. One of the first things they're doing is before they hire you, they peep your credit. They want to look at your job history. How many jobs have you had, in the last 5 years? So that's another good reason you really want to say, hey, I need to take a look at my credit report and what's on there, because you need to maybe have a good baseline when it comes to your credit history out there. So remember, when they talk about credit mixture, what they're talking about is revolving debt versus installment debt. Okay, the types of accounts that make up a consumer's credit report. And so here you are. Isn't a key factor in your score unless there's nothing else on your report. Okay, so if there's nothing else on your report, you know, they don't look at it as strong, but it can be a major factor. All right. Okay, do not open accounts you don't intend to use. So if you got, you know, accounts that and you're not using, that could really hurt you, especially when it comes to installment debts there, because you want to have a good revolving debt, you know, history. So if you got a revolving debt, you may want to go out there and what I tell people a lot of times, I use my credit card to get gas, but I make sure I have that on auto pay, and I try to make sure I make the payment before the date that it's due. See, they may have a what they call a payment date, you know, or a date they actually before it's actually due. So I want to really make that payment a few days early, so when they come out to the next report, they don't make a mistake. And you know, because it's very hard to get some of those people to say, no, I was not late. Yeah, this is the payment, and you got to show them facts where you paid it and this kind of thing. So rather than go through all of that hard work, I make sure that I pay that before the due date. Okay, so the types of accounts that make up a consumer's report is a key factor in your score unless there's nothing else to report. Not necessary to have one each. Do not open accounts that you do not use. So we address the whole scoring system, and here it is right here. The available points, 550. New credit is worth about 10% of your credit score. So you can see it's not that important, but it can be a factor depending on what you got on your report. It's about 55 max points. So that could put you, maybe some of you out there got a pretty good score. You know, you're close to 750 and you want to go over that 750 mark, so you insured the best rate. Hey, you may need new credit out there. Least important factor of your score, we said that. What types of accounts? Okay, here you go. Revolving credit, Visa, charge cards, American Express, they do good reporting. Service, credit, yeah, utilities, yeah, that's a good one there. Installment credit, car, houses, okay. 3 revolving to 1 installment is a good credit mixture. So here's just what the cost of bad credit. So we put this example up here to let you know that, you know, it could really cost you. And what I like to talk to people about is, if this money is going to let's say that in this case, the insurance company, you have to ask yourself, oh, hold on one second. Probably somebody don't know that we're doing a call right now, but I'll just let it ring. Phone is too far for me to grab right now. Okay, well, the real idea is you got a great credit score, meaning 750 or better. What if you could get that, if you're borrowing, you got a credit card that's 28.9%. What if you were able to get that, half of that, somewhere around 14%? Wow, you could have saved yourself considerable amount of money. Like in this particular case, this auto loan was $25,000, and because they had poor credit, they were paying, you know, an enormous amount of money. In this particular case, 18.9% with poor credit. Okay, so you can start to see these subprimes, and when you hear the word subprime, that means somebody's got some poor credit. Okay, they are less than favorable credit. But you see what the people that had good credit and excellent credit, if you kind of can look at our slide here down toward the bottom here, let me just kind of move this little arrow out of the way here so you can see that. Okay, 740 to 850 is excellent credit. So here this person got the same car in this particular case. Oops. Let me just move this out the way here. The auto loan here at 5.1%. They saved over $3,000. Okay, because they got a 7.99% rate. And then you can see what the people with poor credit or the subprime paying about 19.8%. Now, what if they were actually took that $3,000 and put that in a 10% interest bearing account on a monthly basis? Because, you know, if you figure they $300, that's about $150 a month, a little more than $150 a month. Okay, what if you're putting $150 a month in an interest bearing account? I won't go through that example, but we have financial calculators as part of our system where you could put that into your financial calculator system, $150 a month, you know, over 7 years, and you could have turned that $3,000. Probably you could have almost doubled that. How do I know that? Well, there's something called rule of 72. If you divide the interest rate into 72, it tells you how often your money doubles. So I can just look at that very quickly and tell you that, you know, if I could get, you know, 10%, I know in 7 years that $3,000 would double because I can divide 10% into 72. So these are the kinds of things that you learn by being in business with us here in MyEcon and being part of our do-it-yourself credit repair system. So folks, we have a complete system to show you how to manage and how to build your credit and how to actually share this with other people and make additional cash. But most important, we empower you to help friends, family members, and people you love. Now, I know that's a great principle because, you know, I still listen to Dr. Charles Stanley. Of course, you know, he's going on to be with the Lord. But what's fantastic about, you know, he did a sermon Sunday on we as believers, you know, we're encouraged to encourage others. That's right. We need to be, so we don't let our friends and family members walk around with bad credit. We give them this information so they can be empowered to know that, hey, they don't need to be paying this. They need to be doing some kingdom building stuff with that money. Redirect that money. We call it, it's part of the MyEcon family. This is what we call true income shifting. And I tell you what, when you start looking at the mortgages and the amount of money you can save doing that with a good credit or what we call a great credit score, you're going to find out that people are losing money big time because they fail to get with companies that can actually show them how to build their credit, great credit score, and how to maintain it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed our opportunity to be with you tonight. I don't see anything in the chat box, probably because I didn't ask you guys to go there, but that's okay. Next time we'll exercise the chat box. And of course, I always like to give away some giveaways. Let's see, do we have any folks out there, Greg, that we need to chat with? I haven't been looking at that tonight. Oh, there's Miss Hampton. Hey, Miss Hampton, I'm back. She called, check on me. I'm so glad you
was
called.
okay, neither. You didn't let me know you was all right.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, you know, I tell you, they can't keep Mr. Blessed and Winning down, and the enemy, you know, he got tired of bothering me. He said, "Let me leave. That joker is crazy over there. Let me leave. He too much of a headache, you know." And so, you know,
Well,
that's
it's
what
good
they
to hear
do.
your voice. It is
Right.
good to hear your voice.
Well, I
It
appreciate that.
is.
Same here. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've enjoyed being with you here this evening. I thank Greg. We've exhausted all of our time here, so that we're right on time with our schedule here. And as always, you can call on me, and we'll do this. We've got a quick shout out to one of our business partners who are receiving his honorary doctor's degree tomorrow, Mr. Keith Tucker. I'll be bright and early over in Baltimore, Maryland, and of course, seeing him receive his distinguished award there So we're gonna continue to pray for the Tucker family, and as he continued to rise to the top and achieve great things out there, and so he's being recognized in a very special way out there. So if you go to Facebook, most of you probably get something from him anyway. Just say congratulations to him out there, and I think that'll really bless his heart to let him know that we were thinking about him in this hour. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I tell you what, I don't have any other stuff other than there's going to be training tomorrow. You know, it's the third Saturday, and you know what happens on the third Saturday in my econ. Mr. Alvin Curry will be there with a group there, and they'll be on from God knows 10 to probably 2, but then you know they may be on another 3 hours after that because they have something called a meeting after the meeting, and this is where you learn all of the good stuff. And they will show you the hands-on approach that we use to help people build and grow rich. So that's all I have, Mr. Satterwhite and Ms. Cogdale. Is there anything that I can do for you before I hit the trail? Because I've got some other things I need to do before 9 o'clock, and so I want to be able to do that, but I don't want to leave you hanging. If there's anything, maybe Miss Hampton, let's see who else we got. You got any some other folks out there? Oh, okay, Shalonda. All right, hi, Shalonda. The name Satterwhite there in the back, so I probably know who you're related
Hi,
to.
how are you?
I'm blessed and winning.
That's good.
Yes, indeed.
What you trying to say? All the Satellites are related?
Just all the ones on this Zoom are.
Right.
That's
Well,
too
you know, we
funny.
used to have a saying, you know what I'm saying? We all look alike, right? Or maybe we all related. Who knows? But this is good.
We appreciate you, Spencer. This is great. We always appreciate having you on and all the wisdom that you bring. So thank you for taking time to join us and share valuable information with us tonight.
All right. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I just noticed I didn't even have my camera on out there. I was like, I knew something was going on out there. I should let y'all know that standing tall and looking good ought to be in Hollywood. You'll live. So I can say that when not a lot of people are here.
Oh my goodness.
That's that
Yeah.
military.
Yes, indeed.
There it is. Good to
It
see
is.
you.
Right. So we're
Well,
in the
next
MyEcon
Friday
board.
we will have a break due to the holiday weekend. So we hope everyone enjoys their holiday, and then we will pick back up in June. So enjoy, be blessed, be safe, and we look forward to having you back soon.
All right. Well, that's good. I'm always here. So hey, just a phone call and a Zoom away.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Everyone have a great night and a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
You're
All right, bye-bye.
welcome.